Good morning. Happy Thursday. In case you forgot what day of the week it is Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. If you work Monday through Friday, you got 2 more days. Hold on. Don't forget that God is always in control. He's a very present help in a time of trouble, and that is good news. You don't have to look too far when trouble arises. He's right there, and he is waiting to go to bat for you and I. This morning, I just want to encourage you the best that I can to let you know that God is bigger. And as I minister to you, I minister to myself. God is bigger. He's greater. He's broader. He's taller. He is so much more profound and has so much more power than the circumstance that you see in front of you. I don't care how bad it looks, how bad it sounds. I don't care how they dressed it up and brought it to you and acted it out as to how troublesome things are going to get. I don't care how much they told you that today is the deadline. If you don't do such and such and such and such, your world is going to come to an end. If you don't get here right now, things are going to be all over with for you. It's going to be the end of your life as we speak. Listen, I had to learn this the other day, having to go to my son's school. And when I got there, I was caught off guard because I didn't know that they were going to tell me that my son had been acting out in school, as every 5-year-old probably has done. If yours hadn't done it, I want to meet you and shake your hand. And I want to know what you did to have a 5-year-old that never acted out or who doesn't act out. But anyway, I didn't act in my immediate faith. I panicked. I cried right there at the school. When I got in the car, I tried to pray and say, God, I'm not going to call anyone first. I'm going to call on you. That lasted I don't even think it lasted a minute. I started texting. I started calling. And the enemy said, see, you don't trust God. But then God was in my other ear saying, that's what I put people here in place for you to be able to call on your people that are in your circle. I called my son's stand-in granny, and he doesn't have any of his natural grandparents, but he does have a stand-in granny. I call her Stand in the Gap because she's always stood in the gap, Evangelist Sandra. And so I call her, and I know she had things going on in her life that day, her schedule, and I couldn't reach her. And I said, but you know what? It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. God has a plan. I have not prayed all these prayers over my son for God to get me here and to leave me here. And then God had to begin to remind me that, don't you know that I am bigger than any conversation? I'm greater than any conversation. My plan for your son is far more extensive. It's deeper. It has more validity to it. And God spoke all of this to me, not in the exact words, but the spirit behind all of what I'm saying is what God was trying to get into my spirit. And I was able to get a hold of my sister-in-law, and she talked me down off of a ledge. And God he kept showing me. He said, I have people in place. That's why I have you around certain people. You don't have to talk to them. Let me tell you this. You don't have to talk to people every day that are in your circle to know that they're there for you, to know that they are there to fill a certain spot on that certain day at that particular time. You don't have to, well, that's my sister-in-law, or, that's my cousin, and we really don't talk that much. But when you do talk, is it quality to the conversation? So at the end of the day, I had reached out to my son's stand-in granny. I had reached out to my sister-in-law. I reached out to my sissy-do. And each one of them, over a few days, gave me what God had for them to give to me. I want to remind you of two things. God has people in place to minister to you right where you are. You always acknowledge God first, but you ask him, who do you want me to reach out to? Who do you want me to take advice from? And then number two, God is bigger. He's greater. And I know when we're going through something, that's not what we want to hear right then. Those are not, we want the answer. We want it to be fixed right then. But let me tell you that God is bigger than your circumstance, than your situation, than your problem. He is bigger than what your supervisor says. Whether they found you to be right, whether they found you to be wrong, God is greater than that circumstance. I don't care if your spouse does not put you in your proper place. I don't care if they don't acknowledge what you do and the sacrifices that you make as a parent, as a husband or a wife. I don't care. I don't care what they say or do that makes you feel like you don't even want to get out of bed. I don't care what they tell you down at the church. Well, we know that you got this whole little plan that you want to give to the pastors or give to the leaders, but you know what? We're gonna let Sister Bumblebee go ahead and put her plan into motion because we think her plan is better suited. I don't care how much they put other people's husbands up on a pedestal at the job and constantly cause problems and chaos for yours. God is bigger than all of that. I don't care if your bills are stacked as high as from here to the heavens. God has a plan. He has a plan in mind, and he wants to put that plan into motion, and he can do it. We just need to ask him, God, help me to follow the steps that you've already predestined for me way back before I was even a thought, even before my parents even laid eyes on each other. You had a plan for me, and you're greater, you're bigger, you have the last say so. And I know that everything, the good and the bad, is going to work out for my good because you're greater. And if I can leave you with anything today, I'm going to leave you with these words. God is greater. He's greater. He's bigger. So whatever is before you, know that he's greater. Know that he is bigger. And he is greater and he is bigger just because he is God. And that's good news. And I don't cry tears of sadness, but it's tears of hope. Because God has a promise for each and every one of us. Hold on to your circle. Hold on to your team. Whatever you call them. Hold on to them. Call on them. Because God has them there to minister to you right where you are. I'm just a big crybaby. I'll cry at the drop of a hat. Drop your hat. See, I cried. But let me end by telling you that this is all good news. Know that God is greater. He has a plan. And this too, in addition to everything else that came and went, this too came just to pass. And God has a bigger, better, and brighter picture that gives him glory at the end of it all. At the end of it all, God gets the glory. And you will be edified, and I will be edified, and God will be glorified. Listen, be kind to somebody today just because you can do it. Know that better, greater, it is sooner, not later. And know that no matter what you're going through, God is a very present. He's a right now help in a time of trouble. You all be blessed. Pray for someone today. And until next time, I love you. Bye-bye.